Whether it's at home, on the field, or walking for the March of Dimes, this man's middle name is Family. Who is he? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the Horry County Walk America to be held this Saturday. And we're visiting with Coach David Bennett, the coach of the Coastal Carolina University football team. Good morning, Coach Bennett.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank y'all for having me.
And I failed to leave out the honorary chairman of this year's Walk America, a huge commitment that's had you strewn all over the place, giving talks and getting folks pumped up.
Yeah, I think Dennis Wade was hard up for an honorary chairman.
And next year, Susan Cohen's going to be hard up for an honorary chairman. This is a big deal. It must really be an honor to be out here.
Well, it is, and if we can't help babies who can't help themselves, who can we help? You know, our little girl Hayes was born about a month early, 12 years ago. And so kind of got a soft spot in my heart for little kids and older folks. It's all us people in the middle that mess everything up. You know?
That's right. What was that like when y'all were told early on, or that you recognized your wife is...
Well, she just came early, and I remember when they delivered her, they just sat her on a thing over there, and I looked over there, and she was crying, and I walked around, about slipped getting over there to her. Her fingernails weren't in yet, her toenails. She was shaped like E.T. Her head was kind of cone-shaped, and I was worried to death. And the doctor said she's just a little early. She'll be fine. But, again, like Riley and Luke, our babies that are the ambassadors of this walk, nothing was near as bad as the way they were born. And some babies were born, and if you hadn't seen Riley and Luke, you need to come out and be a part of it, see them, see what a blessing they are to their parents. And get involved with the March of Dimes.
Absolutely. And, of course, this Saturday, we're so close, really 48 hours. 50 hours from now, folks will be showing up there for registration at 9 a.m.
And it's not a long walk as it used to be. I think Joe Fisher, who does such a great job with the March of Dimes, it's worth coming out there to meet her,
right.
Get a big hug from Joe. Every time I see her, I can't wait to give her a hug.
Yeah.
She's got the best hugs in America, other than my wife. And
your daughter.
Right, and our daughter, and my mom. But the walk used to be, I think, 6 miles up, 6 back. But now it's shortened, 3 miles up, 3 back. So, heck, even we can make that, Greg, you and me.
Absolutely, Coach Bennett. Another great thing, a lot of folks can just be out there if they can't walk, if they're wheelchair bound, or they really can't move,
yeah.
Or can just walk a little bit. There's a real opportunity to get out there and celebrate all the volunteers, the ambassador babies.
And all the miracles. Ken Hunter, who helps us with our football program, he's a miracle child. You know, every time you see him, he wasn't supposed to live but 5 minutes, and he was born with a hole in his spine the big as a fist. And living today, doing a wonderful job, got a heart of gold, and we can learn from Ken every day. He's part of our staff.
Is that right? You know, there's a commitment of so many folks that step out and commit to charities, and of course in this instance, we think about all the groups you've gotten involved in, and of course to see your service on the United Way Board of Directors and your activities, obviously, with the Jackson family, the center there at Coastal Carolina.
Right, Ethics and Values Center. There's so many people in this community that are behind Coastal Carolina University and everything that goes on. You look at the Spadonis with the education, the School of Education, Bob Brooks stepping up with our stadium. We're still looking for one guy to step up, or one lady to step up with our field house. But it's a great university. A lot of people don't realize, Greg, that it takes about 1,100 on the SAT to get in now.
Wow.
I mean, it's a fine university. It's equal to a Carolina or a Clemson. And the great thing about Coastal, it is our school, it is our football program, and everybody's a part of it. If you went to Clemson or you went to South Carolina and you live here in Horry County, then this is your local school. This is your local university. And we'd love for everybody to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Real quick about yourself, Coach Bennett. Are you originally from the area?
Well, from Cheraw, South Carolina.
Cheraw.
And you say Cheraw like you go to church on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And Cheraw, coming back to Coastal Carolina, it's coming home. You know, we always heard of football starting at Coastal Carolina University. And I hadn't been on the campus for a long time. And when I called to schedule a game when we were at Catawba, our AD, Warren Moose-Kogel, said, I'm supposed to talk to you about the job. And I was like, yeah, right. Coastal, I hadn't been on that campus since 1980.
80, yeah.
And I said, hey, what in the world's going on there? We came, we saw, we met the people, and the rest is history. We feel very blessed that our family, that we were asked to help lead this football program, which is everybody's program, our program, and I think the sky's the limit. As we said all along, we can be as good as we want to be. We can be as big as we want to be. I think last year at Coastal, 8,000 applied for 1,400 spots.
Is that
so? Not everybody gets in.
Wow.
Not everybody gets in. We've got a great technical school here, Horry Georgetown Tech.
Absolutely.
That if you can't get into Coastal right away, go there. You won't find a better president than Neil Wilson. And so it's great how we work together. You know,
You're right.
Talking off subject, but the university acquired Quail Creek, and together with Horry Georgetown are going to operate that with the turf management and our PGM program Charlie Thrash runs. It's just growing and growing and growing.
The whole school, and of course the opportunities for that Coastal Carolina Arena and some of that'll be taking effect. But of course and the new coach that's been announced for the basketball squad.
My wife and I had the chance to go out with Buzz and his wife. You know, just again reiterates to everyone, Coastal is a real university.
Right.
And doing things in a first-class way, and Buzz will do a great job at Coastal.
You know, I saw a quote by you early on. It was a piece in the local newspaper sharing with everyone, the citizens, the community. This is the community's football program.
Oh, it is.
Much like this Saturday's walk is the community's walk, this is the community's football program. When you said that, what were you talking about?
Well, in '93, Coastal branched off from the University of South Carolina and became their own university. So people aren't really considered alum unless they graduated in '93 on, unless you just really say, hey, I went to Coastal, and they don't give all their money to USC, you know, up in Columbia. And we'd like to say to people out there, too, you live here. We'd love for you to invest in our university that is here. But we don't have alumni we can call on from the 40s and 50s. You know, we're only 50 years old. We don't have former football players we can call on to give to support the university. It takes the community to make it happen.
Right.
And we're so blessed to have a great community.
You highlighted that folks can come out whether they're football fans or not. If they've grown up in a community like Horry County or like this area in general, if they haven't grown up with a football program, they could just come out and be out there.
Again, the state we live in, to me, I'm a little partial, to me is the greatest state in our country, South Carolina, the Palmetto State. And people love their football. I think University of South Carolina filled up the bottom section for their spring game, and it was televised.
Wow.
First game ever televised for spring game. But if you don't love football, you'll love our marching band. You'll love the tailgating. You'll love the fellowship, the camaraderie, the people you'll meet there. So it's a great place to be on a fall Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. If you're not going out to Coastal Carolina, then you're just missing out.
Speaking of missing out, you know, you think about yourself when you were in high school. I think I saw you were all conference in football, tennis, track, maybe even baseball. Basketball.
But you know, the older you get, Greg, the better you were back then. I tell you, when I went off to college, I either wanted to be a preacher, a lawyer, or a coach. They knew me. They wouldn't let me be a preacher, so that was out. Back then, I was a pretty bad kid. And
middle child. That's
oh,
right.
Yeah. And being a lawyer, those books were way too big for me, so I was stuck being a coach. And again, been very blessed to be under some great men, around some great people, and given a lot of great opportunities.
As you were playing 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grades, did you think you could potentially be wearing coach's shoes? Did you think you could be were you getting stuff from those coaches that you wanted to take advantage of and actually replay to
you don't know it then,
right?
But you can look back, and you know, back when we were coming through school, I think you might be a little younger than I am. If you got out of line, you got paddled. And then if you got paddled there, you better not let mom or dad find out at home, or you got it again. I remember, though, in 8th grade, we'd go in with our coaches, and we'd hold each other right here by the shoulders and see who could take it the longest, or put on the boxing gloves and box and see who could, you know, we'd let the coaches get wore down, and some of us little guys jump in there and go with them. But things like that went on today. People would be hollering, you know, and saying, what's going on here? But we didn't have problems back then that we have today because there was a lot more discipline.
Oh yeah. You know, when you look at your players now, these aren't high school students. These are college students, but 18, 19, 20, and they're in their early 20s. can you see the ones who are even possibly thinking in their mind, I want to be a coach someday? Or are they running it through, I'll either be a preacher, lawyer, or a coach? Yeah.
I think what a lot of them are doing is, in today's society, what can I do to make me some money?
Really?
And, you know, we try to tell them, follow your heart.
Right.
Find what your purpose is on this earth. And is that teaching? Is it coaching? Is it being a doctor, a lawyer, a preacher, whatever? But I think one of the reasons Ron Engel and our board of trustees and so many people that helped get it going and starting football, there were many reasons to get more South Carolina kids coming to Coastal, get a few more male students there, to get the community involved, and to bring more educators, teachers, and coaches to the university. So it served a multiple of reasons for bringing football to Coastal.
Absolutely. I saw you were out when you were doing some recruiting, were being asked questions like, are you going to be there during my second or third year? And of course the excitement was recently recognized when your contract was extended, I think 5 years through 2010, which should settle a lot of those concerns.
We plan on being here. You know, people ask you questions all the time, and where are you going to the big time? Hey, we are at the big time. Coastal Carolina University is one of our locals. Billy Alford says, you got to dream big.
Right.
What is your vision? And I can see Coastal growing and growing and growing, and we want to be a part of that.
Now, how can you go beyond 4-0 in the Big South last year, 10-1 overall? I mean, what can you do? Just 11-0? I mean,
number one, you got to try to make the national playoffs. And
right.
I talked with Bobby Lamb, the coach at Furman. And see, they're in the Southern Conference, so they win their conference, they get automatic bid in.
Mm-hmm.
1AA playoffs are the hardest thing to get in the nation, in any playoff system, in any sport. 8 automatic bids for conference champions, 8 at-large bids. For us to get in that large bid, Big South doesn't have enough football playing teams to get in.
Right.
So we've got to win our conference and win against a tough schedule. So here's the first 5 games next year. At Elon, they're in the Southern Conference. Home against James Madison, who won the national championship. They're coming to Coastal.
I saw that. September
16 starters back, 9 on offense. Then we go to Appalachian, take on a little old school up there, Appalachian State, who's 11-0 at home over the last 2 years.
Wow.
Home for Delaware State. To Orangeburg to play the MEAC co-champions, South Carolina State. They were 9-2. So our first 5 games will be as good a schedule in the nation for Division I AA football.
That is fantastic. Obviously, Coach, this is a community fair show. Our focus is 50 hours from now, showing up at the pavilion, getting folks out there. Right in front of us, we've got the helmet, we've got the football. What's the significance of those? Why would a viewer want to get out there if they hadn't heard anything about Walk America before right now?
Well, we're giving away 2 tickets to a home football game, and with those 2 tickets will go an autographed helmet by our Big South champion team last year.
Right.
And then with the other 2 helmets will go an autographed ball with those 2 tickets to a home game. And what we want to do is raise money for babies. And that's what the March of Dimes is all about. It started with FDR many, many years ago, I believe in the 1930s, and he had polio and just told people to give their extra dimes. So we're doing a little competition at Coastal with every department. And whoever, we've got the popcorn bucket there, and we're doing it every day. We just sent out an email that we had $28 thrown in the football and media relations bucket, and we're going to get that thing up even higher. But whoever has the most money, when we collect that, we'll get a free day of work from our coaching staff and our football players on their yard.
Wow.
They'll pick someone from that department that needs it the most, and we'll go work on their yard. And one of our coaches said, hope somebody with a big farm don't win that thing. And I said, well, if they win it, that's where we go. That's where we're going to go. But we want to get the money up. We want to reach our goal with the March of Dimes. And you don't want to fall short of your goal.
Right. $216,000. You know, when you hear dollar figures like that, you're thinking, how can my $3 or $5 make a big difference in the pot? But it's 1,000 people thinking that's going to make a difference.
Think if everybody in Old Reed County gave $3. Everybody wrote out a check for 100 or 1,000 or whatever they can give, because some people can give more.
Right.
And I know you do a great deal, and we thank you so much.
We're very blessed. I'm glad the Herald's on board this year. So many of the major sponsors that step up to the plate every year, you see whether it's banks or individuals, as you say, getting out. And I think last year they had a goal of 155. We're over $200,000. Dennis Wade at the helm, and now him back in for a second term and pulling you in as honorary chairman. It's a great testament, as you say, to all the volunteers, clearly to all the sponsors, but a recognition for the ambassador babies and so
Well,
many.
you know, Greg, it just doesn't go to help premature babies.
Right.
Everybody goes and gets a polio vaccine.
Right.
You know, there's so many things that the March of Dimes does to help everyone that people just don't realize.
That's
so
right.
it's a very, very worthy cause.
Share with the viewers a little bit, you know, when we think about yourself in what we perceive as the off season.
There is no off season.
Oh, come on.
Off season is maybe June, but we have a couple football camps in June. Right now.
Let's think of a typical day. Let's say like last week, last Tuesday, the 19th. What would a day like that have been like?
Tuesdays we have a gathering of guys. We have a devotion group. And Alan LaForce, our women's basketball coach, he says, I wish every day was like Tuesday. He said, I'm not mad at anybody on Tuesday when we come out of there, but we study different books of the Bible or different books we read. Then we'll go out and do whatever, you know, we do that day. But last Tuesday was devotion, 7:30, 9 o'clock, the State Financial Aid Convention. I had to go speak to them. 12 o'clock, scoop ice cream at Ben & Jerry's for Habitat for Humanity. I enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah.
Ice cream's one of my weaknesses.
You probably dug in a little bit.
Well, I had 12 different
That's why you're
scoops.
not a preacher. You gave in to temptation, yeah.
I had 12 different scoops. By the way, Ben & Jerry's, if you go in there, that New York Supreme Fudge is unbelievable. It's chocolate with big pecans and chunks of chocolate in it. It was the best I've ever had. And then had a meeting that afternoon at 4 o'clock, and then spoke to FCA that night at 9 o'clock. So got to go home and see the family for a little while, help them with their homework, get them ready for bed, and then come back to the school. So it doesn't, you don't have a typical day. And to me, coaching isn't a job, Greg, it's a way of life. That's just what it is. Again, have an unbelievable wife, and she is with our children when I'm not there. She raises them the way I'd raise them if I was there. If they get out of line, she'll get them back in line. Tough thing is she's like that on me sometimes too. So she's a great, great lady.
Now, you use family a lot. Obviously, you've got your family in Cheraw.
Right.
You've got your wife and son and daughter. You've got your football family, the coastal family, the community. I mean, family is a key. It's like your middle name.
Well, family's big. You know, these
players.
kids. Well, these kids are playing ball, right? And there are a lot of people don't understand it. Oh, it's just playing football, and it is a game. To me, it's the greatest game on this earth. It takes the most amount of people. We've got 125 players. And we've got about 12 coaches to cover all those 125. But what you're doing is pulling everybody in on the team. It doesn't matter if it's Missy Veda cleaning our building. Everybody is part of the team. And we want these young men not only to be good football players, let's back it up. First of all, we want them to be good people, have character. One day they'll be husbands. One day they'll be fathers. We want them to do a good job of doing that. We want them to be good students, and then we want them to be good players. So we're trying to develop people, and you know, but we only give them for 4 or 5 years of their life. So we've got to do a lot in a quick amount of time.
You know, you talked about last Tuesday, the 19th, a typical off-season day, which is full. Started in the morning with the Lord, started with the devotion. You ended with the fellowship of Christian athletes. You start the day and end the day with the Lord. Now, is that typical within the center of the day on the on season? Are you able to share with these young men and the cleaning staff about the Lord? How do you bring that into your life?
Yeah, and they share it with us.
Yeah.
You know, Greg, we learn from each other. Miss Betty that used to clean our building had the idea when the goalpost was torn down after the first victory in 03. She said, Coach, what y'all going to do with that goalpost? I said, I don't know, Miss Betty. Y'all ought to cut it up, put it on plaques and shadow boxes and sell it. I called Sally Horner, who is a genius in charge of all our finances at Coastal Carolina. She said, Coach, that's a wonderful idea. I said, it's not my idea. It's Miss Betty's. We gave Miss Betty one for Christmas, and she couldn't even stay in the room. She had to leave. So we learn from one another. And, yeah, we have, you know, you better get your day started with devotion. You know, we get so caught up in things of this world, but how long are you here? What's the expectancy? 75, 80 years? Where are you going when you're done here? This thing's not eternal. This world is not eternal.
Right. You know, and of course this is a state school, so there are probably some regulations to what you can do. You know, we always...
Yeah, we put a devotion up on our doors as you come into our building every day. Put a daily devotion up. We had a professor say to us one day, told Jill, you tell Coach Bennett now he can't be forcing that on nobody. This is a state-supported institution. And then he came back and said, if y'all put it on the inside of these doors, I guess you're all right. I said a prayer that day for that professor that, you know, good Lord, work on that fellow's heart, because, you know, everybody's got their own beliefs. but I think I know the outcome. You know, there is a winner and there is a loser. Which team you want to be on?
Those are great words. Breakdown, let's go. We got about 5 minutes. We want to focus on the walk. Obviously, Saturday is such a huge day. Rain or shine, folks will be out there. Obviously, we're expecting great weather today on Thursday. We're 50 hours away, but we want folks out there no matter what. I think I heard Dennis Wade say that the parking garage for the pavilion is open to everyone associated with the walk.
Right. And I think I've heard, too, that if you participate in the walk, you'll get a free ride on the roller coaster down there.
Right.
Burrs and Chapin is doing that for everybody involved.
Right, the Hurricane.
That's right. And I'm going to try to get my wife on it. She wouldn't ride it. Like we go to Disney World, I have to ride the rides with our daughter. She loves it, but we'll try to get her on that, and it should be a great day. And I know Joe Fisher has a lot of prayers going for a great day on the day of the walk.
You know, this past weekend was, of course, the Loris and I believe the Georgetown Walk. I think this past weekend, obviously the Horry County Walk and maybe the Lake City Walk. Then next weekend's the Dillon Walk. I mean, there's a flurry of walks right at this time of the year in the spring, and then in the fall you got Marlboro, you got tons of other walks up in the PD area. So it's just a critical time when we think about walks.
Yeah, I wish the people could hear from Riley's family, from Luke's family, and just get involved and be a part. You know, just come down there and be a part of, I think it's a great cause.
Were there ever days where you wondered, you know, even though you figured out you had some tough times in your youth, you know, where you wonder maybe I could have been a good preacher, could have done a good job of that, or even the lawyer? You know, the books are big, but you not only finished college, but then got a master's degree, I saw. I mean, you've obviously had a little book smarts there.
Not real smart.
Yeah, okay.
When I go in for an award ceremony, Greg, for our daughter Hayes or our son Jeb, and again, you're talking about being blessed, they both make straight A's. Hayes made one B in her life. I went to that award ceremony. She come up to me running and cried, "Why are you here, Daddy? I made a B." I said, "Honey, I made a couple of B's in my life." You know, her mother made straight A's, so we're blessed they both do like her. But I give thanks every time I go in and for their award ceremony. I wasn't a great student. I think no matter what you do in your life, where you work, you know, you reach people and you can plant seeds, and maybe you might not be a minister, but you can minister to people.
Right.
And so that's all. Blessed with a chance to be a coach. I'm just one of the many coaches we have at Coastal Carolina.
And that's an important thing for folks to think about. Obviously, you're kind of the face of the team. You're on billboards that folks are coming in from the PD.
Now we got players that have graduated.
Right. And
by NCAA regulations, they can put them on there.
Right. Good.
We just had a group of seniors last year, so.
Who just came in for some pictures, probably should be getting on some billboards soon. But as it stands right now, I mean, you're really the face of the team, but there are a heck of a lot of other coaches that make it happen. A lot of them are going to be out with you this Saturday at the walk, right?
They are,
yeah.
And our players. And Victor Boyd, our strength coach.
Great.
He's going to be out there, and Joe wanted me to have my whistle. I said, no, Coach Boyd's going to have his whistle. Our strength coach will loosen everybody up,
right,
get them ready to go. Well, we won't have to do too much loosening because 6 miles of walking, that'll loosen you up enough.
Oh, yeah. That alone, getting out to see the football team, that's an opportunity, you know, so few times.
Right, and I know Joe's working on getting our cheerleaders out there. A lot of men would rather see our cheerleaders than see our football players.
Sure. That's right. Maybe we ought to just say the cheerleaders are coming to get more folks out. But it's such a great day, you know, to think about that. As you said, you've said over and over, Riley Samples and Luke Parrott. Those are the two ambassador children. Every walk has ambassador families. What's the significance for viewers who, I mean, that may be a reason to get out themselves just to see these two children and their families.
And they're miracles. And if you haven't heard a parent talk that has a child that's been born prematurely, you need to do that. And I hope they'll both talk at the walk because it's tough for me to be around. But, you know, it's just like a young baby here, Walker Brigham, who our family's real close to. My wife said to his mother, "Oh, it's tough, I know, for you every day, and how do you deal with it?" She told my wife, "Not our child anyway. We're thankful for every day he's with us."
Right. Absolutely. Coach, think about that. If you weren't the coach, now obviously entering your third season, the third full season, obviously this is really the fourth. You had the first year without a schedule.
We weren't ready to play that first year.
Those 2 full years, 6 and 5, and then I think 10 and 1 to see such a spectacular year. If you weren't the coach, what do you think you'd be doing now?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just
You've
never
been
really
coaching
thought
for a
about it.
long time. That's right.
21 years.
Is that right? Yeah.
But again, we've got a great staff. We've been together. Curtis Walker, our defensive coordinator. Jamie Snyder, our offensive coordinator. Kevin Brown, our quarterback coach. We came together from Salisbury, and then we hired some great young men. Keith James, Antoine Rivens, Drew Watson, Mike Castellano, Hunter Spivey, a local Conway fella, Wilson Beaver Equipment, Josh Chesson, video coordinator, Jill Kress. We've got a great staff, and coaches had chances over the last 2 years to leave and take other jobs, but it's a family.
Those are all family members that we hope we'll see this Saturday at the Walk. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Coach.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for more Carolina People with Coach David Bennett coming up next. Every day, babies fight for their lives, and every day the March of Dimes and its volunteers helps them win. You've got a chance to be a part of that. That's this Saturday. Registration's at 9. The walk kicks off at 10 a.m. If you can't walk, get out there. Recognize the support of all the volunteers. Recognize and get out there and thank all the volunteers. Be a part of it. The babies are out there. This is a chance to be a part of their lives and help strengthen them and so many babies yet to come. The lives are precious. Be a part of the March of Dimes.